I'm Lorian, and this is episode 36 of Knitting Monologues. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, and tomorrow in the U.S. it is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I am coming to you from a different space in my house. This used to be my son's bedroom, and just over 2 weeks ago he moved across the country and for his career, hopefully his career, a job, an amazing opportunity, and took everything with him, which was fine. We encouraged it. And I was very, very sad. As excited and logical as I could be, I was still very sad that he is that far. And his room was empty, and a dear friend of mine said, you have yarn all over your house. Why don't you put it in one place? So I actually had all of my stash really in a closet, but my active projects, my sort of on deck projects were in a few places. And my recording was in a different place, and the podcast recording, and so my ceramics were somewhere else. So my husband said, yes, set it up. So now this is becoming my craft room. Right over my shoulder here, that's my Swift, my winder. I have a table here. I have most of the decor is the yarn itself, like, hello, lovely jar of small minis. I have small minis, balls of dark minis, balls of light minis, or vases, I should say, pom-poms, stitch markers, clippy stitch markers, all kinds of goodies. So I'd like to get us some shelves and a comfy chair and put a few things up on the walls. But so far, this is where things are. I'll just scoot that out of the way for now. That's to come. I have a full episode. It's been a few weeks, and I have a little bit of everything for you. The first is what I'm wearing. This is a new finish. It's a sweater by Feitelson. Let me just give you the full picture here. Stand up. It is a Fair Isle, as you can see, all over colorwork sweater. Drop shoulder construction. There's the shoulder and the sleeve. This is a pattern that is published in a book. And this book is a tremendous, tremendous resource for Fair Isle knitting. It's called The Art of Fair Isle Knitting. I think it's about 175 pages. It was published in 1996. And the first half of it or so is about the history, about technique, about color management and color choices. And it's just a real treasure of information. And no, I haven't read it all. Let me be honest. This is really a collab in the truest sense, this project, because Laura from Knitting Posse planned the project, bought the yarn, and knit the entire body, minus the collar. But the bottom waist, it's a bottom, I think it must be bottom up, yeah. Steek panels for here, and steek panels for here. Now let me tell you, it came to, and it had these things. Remember these? Good old-fashioned stitch holders, right? Now we use these cords, at least I do. To me, in my mind, this had taken over. When I went to go switch, though, this was too large to hold the stitches, these plastic tubing. So I did have to keep it on the holders until I got to the collar. And so there's a place for those still. Don't throw them out. This is one of my decorative, my decor / storage strategies in my new craft room. And she had knit all of it, put it aside, and I don't know exactly how long, but decided she was never going to come back to it. And she approached me and she said, you're the only person I know who might be interested. Would you want to pick it up? I have all the materials. And let me tell you, if you're picking up a project from anyone and finishing it, you want it to be Laura. Every single color was in a plastic bag with the number, with the name. So I said sure, and I put it aside for a few years. I usually plan my projects out in advance. This was on this year's plan. And so really I had to knit the sleeves and the collar and do any finishing. The yarn is all Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. This is a ball of it. There we go. I needed one rescue skein. Believe it or not, I ran shy on this main color, which I think is called denim blue, denim heather. Interestingly though, Laura's came like this in a hank. I don't know if that says something about the age of the project or where she purchased the materials for. If she sees this, I don't know if she will, but if you see her, tell her how beautiful this is. And this is how it came versus the ball. So everything she had given me, she had hand wound also into a ball. I recaked them. I put those balls onto my winder, not the Swift, and I prefer to knit from a cake rather than a ball. So super well organized, very meticulous, easier to pick up. I think it's 9 colors, and she purchased the book. She couldn't find the pattern, so she purchased this book and gave the whole thing to me. Let's see. So I needed to cut the steek and start the sleeves. I did them one at a time. I don't really love knitting color work 2 at a time sleeves. You can, for sure, but I didn't want to do all that color management plus changing all these colors every 6 or 7 rows and trying to figure what to carry and what not to. So right here, obviously where the direction starts going down, this pattern does not have some of the things I look for when I choose a project. A pattern would be a schematic. There's no schematic. There are some measurements. There are charts, color work charts, and the book has the technique. But this, this is a bit older, so it doesn't come with some of the videos or any links to videos. Not that I know of. You may be able to look up Anne Feitelson and find that now, but it wasn't, part of the book, obviously, because it's a bit older. This is the size medium. It says it's a 44 3/4. I didn't actually re-measure it, and I believe Laura had blocked the body out. It is designed, I believe it calls for a size 3 needle. So I started knitting with a 3, and just by sight, I felt like mine was a little bit looser than hers. Yeah. And I probably had knit 6 rounds, and I took it out. Did I keep my pickup? No, I think I picked up again. And I started again on 2 1/2, and I was much happier. So I knit one sleeve, then the other, then picked up around for the collar. Now the collar's, I think, very interesting. It's a corrugated ribbing, so 2 by 2, 2 different colors, and then you do a transition round, and then the inside is it's a folded in, but it's all stockinette. And I thought that was neat. I actually bound off directly and then just basted my collar down rather than, I found the stitches a little too small to do like a 3 needle bind off or to bind off and attach it as I went. I think it's very pretty. I think the color work is very pretty. I have a couple of all over color work sweaters, none that are, I don't think that are technically Fair Isle, I don't think, and none in this yarn. Now this is a scratchier yarn. It's a Shetland wool, but I actually found it next to Skin Soft. I'm not wearing it next to Skin today, but I did throw it on at one point as I was trying to figure out plan for this episode, just in between some ideas that I had. So I'm glad I have it. I'm glad Laura thought to ask me, and I know I'll wear it. It is light because it's fingering, and the Shetland wool it's airy, so it's not a heavy sweater for the amount of yarn that's actually making it up. I'm glad I have it. had I gone to purchase this, I don't know that I would have done the blues, but in the end, like wearing it, I like it. I like the colors. I like the motifs. If you look, the body and the sleeves pretty much line up also. So it feels like it's very thoughtfully and technically designed. Now, the one thing that I have been struggling with is this drop shoulder construction. Now, when you knit a drop shoulder design, you have to knit one that's wider than your body. You're supposed to. And this says it's a 44. I think that's about right. I think it came, trying to think, I just took a measurement. Maybe it's closer to a little bit to a 42, 43. I didn't measure this one actually. So it's probably about right. The 44. Laura's meticulous, so I'm gonna go with that. The sleeve length, I blocked to the length that I need. It's not the sleeves. I mean, it's just the construction. And you can see, like, there's all this extra, like, I'm in here. There's a lot of extra knitting. There's a lot of extra yarn. And I just, personally, I'm not gonna, like, give this away, and I will wear it, but I don't love this. I also wanted to show you that I knit a different sweater, and I showed it on my last episode. I'm going to do a quick change here. Now, this is a low production video channel, so I don't do any editing, so you're just gonna have to let me talk as I change here, right in front of you. I'm not leaving frame. Let me not get lipstick on things. Okay, we're done with looking at this, I think. Last episode, I showed you my stripe hype sweater. This is a pattern by Veronica Lindberg. It's also a drop shoulder pattern. I think this is closer to the 42 size, so it's a little bit smaller. I didn't show you how it fit. It's a DK weight pattern. I knit it in superwash yarn. It's a very different type of material because of that. But I really I thought this was for those of you who want to kind of get technical, or if you don't, just jump ahead a little bit. This won't be that long. This is how I love my sweaters with a white or a blue collared shirt. Sometimes I have a blue and white stripe. Sometimes I do that one. But here we go again. To me, this just looks silly. I mean, yes, it's a little more fitted for sure, but this, when I put my arms down, I don't like the look of that. Yeah, I'm looking at it as I'm talking to you, and I'm like, what is all of that? I mean, I see it on other people. Now, I want to say, I have a very short distance here. I have a fuller bust, and I wonder if some of that combination is contributing to what makes this look funny for me. I don't have especially broad shoulders. I think they're kind of normal. Again, I'm not getting rid of this. I've worn it to work. I think it's fun. I'm glad I did it. But next year, I was planning to knit at least 2 more drop shoulder construction sweaters. And now I'm rethinking that. I feel like I'm seeing something like a bump, but okay. It's just a little piece of yarn that's loose here. All right, now I want to show you how I fit into a circular yoke, because I really think that for my proportions, a circular yoke or a raglan are just better. Ta-da! Okay, so I just grabbed a sweater that I wore the other day to work. I wore it Monday, 2 days ago. And this is called Sunshine on My Shoulders. I'm trying to think of who designed it. I think it's Olga Putano. I'm gonna look in just a sec when I have a hand. But I knit this a couple years ago. It is it's a top down color work. Granted, this has a wider neck. I don't think that matters though. that's not really the point. It does have a wider neck, so I don't always wear it with a collared shirt, although it's fine either way. So here, that's this design. I just think on me, this is a more flattering look. I need something that's a little more fitted, a little less boxy. And I'm bummed because these other two sweaters I really wanted to knit. I'm glad to know because one of them, I almost bought the main color or the yarn at New York Sheep and Wool this year, and they were out of the main color which I wanted, which was navy, and so I didn't buy any of it. And it just came out of back order, and I almost ordered it, but I wouldn't be happy with how the fit on me is. Yeah, let me just look this one up. This is The Sunshine on My Shoulders by Projects. It's not coming up. Flower. Oh, let's see. I don't know what I called it. Don't you hate that? Here. Oh, it's not called Sunshine on My Shoulders. It's called Here Comes the Sun. Correction. Here Comes the Sun. And it's by Olga Patano Designs. Yeah. So the yarn in this is from, in case you're interested, Knitting Nikabi, who I think changed her name, but this is all like organic. I believe it's all organic merino. I think her colors are gorgeous. The blue was from Spun Right Round. Is that right? Yeah, a natural wool that she doesn't have anymore, Renee. So, okay, that was just a little quick change, show and tell, a little rant, a little off line about sweater construction and fit for me. So if you're interested in drop shoulder constructions, I won't be making them for me. I want to love how I feel and how things fit when I make them. And I think that's part of the process of learning to make things for you. You can certainly make them and know that they don't fit as well, of course, just because you love the experience or the colors or whatever you chose, or the designer. I had a lot of conversation with my friend Beth McDonald Stone about this because she has been doing a ton of design of drop shoulder, and the fabric itself could make a difference. Those sweaters I showed you, two very different fabrics, different gauges. Maybe if it were a short sleeve, I wouldn't mind as much. I'm not sure, but I can tell, and I think you can see, this just is a better fit for me. With a drop shoulder pattern, you have to knit it longer than your chest because you need it to go out to the shoulders. Now, there's possible that you could have one where the body is one size and it widens, but I don't know if that's still considered drop shoulder then. So something to think about when you're looking at designs. You know, I think for me, I'm going to see all of these up and coming designs with the trend being towards drop shoulder and want to make them, and I'm going to have to catch myself and say, nope, it doesn't look good on you, Lorraine. All right, or you don't like the way it looks on yourself. Let's go with that. Okay. Other finishes. So I'm calling this a finish. Obviously, you're going to see some strings. It's not totally done because I'm waiting for the baby to come. So it's a baby knit. I'm excited because my sister is having her first baby. This is actually not for her, but this is for my friend's son and his wife are having a baby. Are they due in January? I think January. They don't know the gender. So this is a little romper. There's the little part that covers the diaper. I haven't put the buttons on because they don't know the gender, and I didn't want to do all neutral. I gave them just a cash gift for their baby shower. And I'm holding on to this romper for them, and I might embroider something on the front. So this design is called Basic Baby Romper by Alena Byers. There are little buttonholes right here in the front, and these fold over. So I just left the strings because I might use them just when I sew the buttons on. And there'll be buttons here too. And this yarn is from Backloop Yarn & Co. It really is just a superwash merino DK weight. And I like this pattern. I think Petite Knit has some rompers and they're worsted and fingering. This is a DK weight one, so I've gone to this one for the couple that I have made. It's the same yarn that was in the stripe hype. I had some left over. So I'm excited to have that and to work on it once we know more about the baby, once baby comes. Okay, that's it for finishes. On the needles. I'm sighing because I just took out about 4 inches of length of this particular project yesterday. Let me say, we have gotten into the holiday spirit here in my house. Our house is decorated for the holidays, well before Thanksgiving here. And I have taken out all of my holiday winterish, even though it's not even close yet, project bag. So this one is my hot cocoa bag, and it's by the embroidered elephant. I think I won this one. It has cute little sprinkles inside. So my husband he kind of asked for these things last minute. He forgets that I plan very far in advance. He asked me to make him, when I went to Fiber Festival of New England, I asked, do you want anything? He said, no. And then he said, actually, I'd like a navy vest. So I went around taking pictures of navy yarn. And so here we are. This is a gorgeous yarn, really, really pretty. It is by Quill and Quiver Fibers, who vended at Fiber Festival of New England for the first time. But they're not new to the business. They are based in Vermont. It's an organic wool, that's all it says, and it's a sport weight. I don't even think this had a color. No. There were 3 skeins of it, and you can see it's highly tonal. I really should have, I never know what to do when you have to, the pattern, you start in the back, you knit the whole back, then you pick up and go down the front, and then you're back and forth on the front until you get to a length where you can join the sleeves. And I used the first ball pretty much for all of this. I've only joined the second. I had tried instead of alternating, and this particular skein had a lot more white in it than the first one. So on the back it didn't show as much, but on the front it wasn't bothering my husband, but it was bothering me. So this is a circular, like a round neck, basic men's tunic style vest. It is called the Novice Slipover Man by Petite Knit. And I'm knitting it. I had to size down. I think it's a DK pattern. Because I'm using sport, I had to size down, believe it or not, I think to a 1 size needle. But my gauge is fine. It's going to be fitted. My husband, it's this, I think it's a size 3. He has another sweater by Petite Knit that he loves, so I felt like that was a good way to go. We'll probably have to do a couple of tries of the collar because he likes his collar very high. And really the technical part is pretty much done because all I'm doing now is knitting, adding length. So hopefully this ball will not have as many white parts in it. It may also be that like the first half of the skein had more than the second half, because I feel like that kind of happened on the front. Like you can see more white here. Well, you can see more white here maybe. I don't know. It was bothering me. I thought I could see past it, but I couldn't. So this is one of the things I'm working on. I was hoping to have it closer to finished, but then I hit the rewind button on 3 or 4 inches last night. Oh, and I've taken out all of my holiday stitch markers, so it's fun. But it's a really pretty yarn. They had very nice colors, and he really wanted a nice blue. Okay, next. I saw this pattern and fell in love. First of all, this is a designer who I think pretty much everything she makes is just spectacular, everything she designs. So this is a pattern, this is called Tessa. It's by Irene Lin. Let me show the yarn is Aisling Yarns. I think they're out of Pennsylvania. I always say some of the best yarns come from Pennsylvania. And this is their UK raised and milled, non-superwash British BFL Masham. It's Aran weight. So my friend Angel gave me, she had 3 skeins left of this from a sweater she knit for her husband. And also at Fiber Festival of New England, I realized, hey, this might work for the Tessa sweater by Irene Lin. And I think it's just called Tessa. And I wrote to them, and Krista is her name, and she was just so lovely, so happy, and helped me pick. She said they all match, but she had some older ones. I think Angel bought this in April, so she had a new batch and an older batch all mixed in together because she said it was pretty much the same, but she picked more. So this is a top-down Aran weight sweater. I don't know if you'll be able to see. I've started this cable pattern here. Folded collar. It's just so juicy. The design is called for, I want to say like a Surrey or a mohair, a lot more fluff and a lot more airier yarn. It's knit on a 10, and I think I'm knitting the second size in this one. The second and the first were pretty close. I think the sleeve circumference was the main thing that was different. I have to decide. It's a very oversized, long look, like long in the yoke, which is not usually my favorite, and I often raise the divide for the body and the sleeve. So I have to kind of see where my stitch count is in a few more rounds, because it looks like I'm probably not that far off lengthwise from possibly dividing. But it has really interesting sections. It has a small amount of cables. This is actually a version of brioche right here. And the yarn is just, it's all so pretty. And I needed another, oatmeal colored sweater, like, not at all, but I loved it. And I had more or less half of the yarn I needed already. So I'm working on this. Again, I have it in a holiday bag. I think if somebody sent this to me, I don't really know where it came from. This was not something I won. It says ho, ho, ho in it. I think it was part of those get your yarn wishes granted or something. I haven't seen that happen this year. I don't remember if that starts in December. But I've got that in that bag. Let's see. And then I'm excited because I've made quite a bit of progress on my Escher's Dream scarf. My Escher's Dream scarf. So this is a pattern by SweaterFreak, and I am using Clinton Hill Cashmere, which is this is the first time I'm using it. I have a bunch of it. I purchased it, a bunch of it last year. I found it on sale, and I haven't been using it. I've been holding it very precious. This is just marking where I stopped increasing for the end here. And it's a houndstooth pattern. I'm using like a ballerina pink and an olive. I was gonna do pink and black, and then when I realized they had olive, I put the black aside and purchased the green. I won a skein of pink years ago, and I purchased a second. They're not perfect matches. It's a scarf. They're fine. One thing I definitely will say, as much as I love the look of this, and I really, really do. I mean, it has this gorgeous edge here, this gorgeous I-cord edge, and I just think it's so graphic. I love the look. I really don't enjoy mosaic knitting. I can do it. I hate doing a full garment in it. Don't like a vest in it. I just give me a quick cowl, maybe a hat, a section of a piece. This is a lot of mosaic, and it's slow because you really you kind of need to knit 2 rows for every one equivalent. So like I said, I'm almost finished. The next repeat, I'll switch to the second balls, and I'll be on the halfway mark. I'm gonna love having this. I'm just not loving making it. I started it early this year. Can't remember, February or January. Would love to finish it. So I try to do a repeat. I think it's about a little under 50 repeats at this point, and I'm at the halfway mark. So that's good. Let's see. Acquisitions. And I'm kind of excited that I'm excited about the idea I have of how to use this. So I have an episode where I talked about where I find things on Destash. And one of the ones I find often is on Facebook on a group called A Real Yarn Destash. Oh, good, this isn't too hot anymore. And I saw this yarn, and it is a Merino Boucle, 240 yards. I think I actually have this base in a white also. Ooh, that's looking very, very bright. That's probably right. I read, the picture online made me think it was a little more orange pink. This is fully pink, like bright Barbie pink. Sorry, I have a fuzz in my mouth. Well, I have an idea. I don't know if it will work. But I have a project that's been languishing, in part because because it's on such a small gauge, and you're gonna see it's a lot. And now I'm taking it out. I'm gonna be like, I should just finish that. Maybe I will. My original thought was, I gotta tone this down with something. Maybe I'll get some orange Surrey. But then I thought maybe I could hold it with this, and I might take that sweater out. This is Milano, and it's cashmere, all cashmere. 90 wool, 10 cashmere. I've had it for a while. I got it on Webs, I think. I don't even know if they make it. I just thought it was pretty, and it was a good price, but it's practically lace weight. Anyway, this one is called Begonia, and it's by Junk Yarn. So I have 5 skeins. So I have 240. So I have 1,200 yards. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. I see a lot of people working in Boucle, and I gotta figure it out. But add it to the list of sweater quantities. I really don't have too many, and I do have plans for most everything. But I thought it would be fun, and there we have it. The babies that I know, so I know 3 people having babies, and 2 I know are boys. So that won't be a baby gift for sure. Won't go into a baby gift. My sister's having a boy, and one of the people I work with at school is having a boy. All these boys. Okay, that is the knitting. I didn't bring it up today. I wanted to mention also that I will be doing December Advent countdown with my dog Cooper. I have a mini skein and a full-sized from Sweet Nesting, and I have a DK weight stripe skein from Freckled Whimsy. So I will be doing that, and Cooper has a Trader Joe's Doggy Advent. So he loves to do that. We are gonna have to figure out a new way to do that. I have a different arrangement in my kitchen. He can't sit with me on my chair anymore, but we will be doing that. I have started thinking about next year. and my plans. I find that if I make a list, it's basically the same as a make 9, make 12, make 15, what have you. But I find if I make that list towards the end, at some point the year before, I really am pretty good about sticking to it. It keeps my purchasing on target. It keeps my making on target. Of course, other things get thrown in. And couple of things I know are going to go on there. One is I want to find uses for the cashmere that I bought. I don't want to hold that precious. I think I have 2 skeins of the Clinton Hill Black DK. I have 2 skeins of the Clinton Hill Black, what is it? The heavier weight, like a worsted, not a bulky. And I think I have something else that I can't remember what it is. Maybe gray. Most of it I bought on sale, and I thought I would like make hats or a scarf or something for myself or my husband, and I just haven't yet, so I definitely want to. I also want to go back to knitting more socks. I switched my winter clothing out and took my spring summer clothing out. And most of my socks, other than maybe a pair at the end of the year, I haven't really been knitting socks in recent years. And some of my pairs, they've all, for the most part, held up. I wash them in the machine. I don't usually dry them in the machine unless they get in by accident. And they've held up, but I could use some fresh ones and maybe retire some of the older ones. I do have a few sweaters planned, but it's going to be a very set and curated amount of sweaters, which is also why I started the Tessa now. But hey, I had half of that yarn already. So more to think about. That is kind of a December thought, and in a couple of weeks, maybe even next time I come to you, I will have my plans for 2026. Okay, I wanted to show you a couple of other things. The first is I am reading this book, City of Thieves by David Benioff. He is one of the, I don't remember, writers, screenplay writers, producers. He's one of the guys behind Game of Thrones. And I was looking for something else in the library at the school where I work, and I saw this on the shelf. I was in the wrong section, which is kind of funny, comical, because I used to work in the library there before the office where I work now. And I just saw this with his name on it, and I thought, I gotta check that out. So it is considered historical fiction. I grabbed it. He and I were in college at the same time. I don't think I ever met him, but we were in college at the same time together. I grabbed it, and it is very entertaining. It's a little bit dark, but so far so good. It seems like a good bite-sized book, and I think it's well written. Okay, I thought I would show you some of my ceramics. This mug is not mine. This is one I purchased. But I have been trying to replicate this glaze, which is a color we don't have. I meant to ask my teacher, it's from a different brand, and I meant to ask her if I could buy some and she could still throw it in the kiln. So these are pieces that were fired, but have not yet been glazed. So this is plate, of course, as self-explanatory. I'm happy with the bottom. I think I did the bottom pretty well. Rest of it, I have been experimenting with a few new color combinations, and I probably will use one of those on this. So this is a pretty large bowl. Here we go. Maybe you can see it better. With high sides. I consider it more of like a serving bowl. So if I made one bowl with a new color combination rather than the dark blue I've been doing a lot of. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see more of my pottery, but sometimes I do a little show and tell here. And I did a new combination on a bowl recently. I was happy with how it came out, and I did it on another type of bowl last night when I was in class, and we'll see. I want to make sure it's consistent. So I've been making much larger pieces than most people in class, and so when I find a glaze combination that I like, I will just buy it myself, just because we do pay for materials, but I don't want to feel pressure that I keep using the same glaze. I'm going to use it up. And I'm happy to just find my own. It's just as easy. Okay. Last thing. I have wanted to show you guys this for a long time. It is my favorite hand cream, bar none. Bar none. I have a lot of criteria. There are a ton of hand creams out there, ton given at gifts, ton in the stores. I'm more scent sensitive. I don't like my body smelling like food. Other than very, very select and not strong scents, because this has some of a scent to it. And I find this gets absorbed well, but it's deeply moisturizing. So it is put out by Lush, which I think is a Canadian or British, made in Canada. There we go. Canadian company. I thought it was Britain though, British. And they, it's called Helping Hands. And I believe this was designed for nurses. I could be wrong. It has honey, almond oil, and lavender, so that's where the food comes in a little bit. They recycle the containers. It is not a weird, like, it's just a basic color. I could not love this more. I only use it on hands, and good to know. Perfect, frequent hand washers were those with extremely dry hands. So like I said, I think it was designed for nurses. I strongly recommend this. It is not cheap, but it does last a while. You don't need very much in order for it to absorb. And okay, I think that's it. I'm not gonna do a little, I'd love to show you around the room. I'm not ready to do that. There's just not much to see. But I do have great natural light. I don't need my ring light today. And I'm excited to just make it a space that I still want to come into. So personal, my son moved, let's see, just over 2 weeks ago. I live in Connecticut and he lives in California, and he has an amazing career opportunity. He's 23, and it is not an easy economy, and these are not easy jobs to come by, and he really wanted to pursue this field. He works for Boeing in their defense division and is an aerospace test engineer. He works at Edwards Air Force Base. I think I just shared all of this, and I'm very proud. Absolutely. And we have started, but the first week was super hard. I was just very sad. My husband was sad. And we didn't want to be sad when we talked to him, but it was a big change because of the much more permanence of it than him going away for university. My daughter goes to university closer by. She's a 4.5-hour drive, and we do see her, and she comes home still. She's younger than he is, and she intends to be in Boston. So I don't really know where we'll end up because both kids plan to be somewhere else. I don't know. I came back and lived where my parents were, and I feel like I need to be where my kids are, but I don't know how I'll be in both places at once if that's the case. We'll see with my daughter. It just took some time to find our rhythm, to adjust to the fact that he's 3 hours different from us, but now that he's got his schedule, he started work, his car arrived in a week, his belongings that he shipped, he had a full, generous relocation package, so his furniture just got delivered yesterday. And he's moved, he's doing the things an adult should do. He's got his own doctor out there. He's, making a life for himself. His car is taken care of. Just those, things. And I was thinking, I don't know many people in California. For one, I don't really know a lot of knitters. If you're there, hi. And I think someone commented last time, so thank you. I have run into people who have some connections. Anyway, I know two people. One is a guy I went to high school with who lives near LA or in LA. And another was the first neighbors that my husband and I had when we bought our first house. They were from California. They moved back to California. And they had 3 kids, the youngest of whom was our babysitter, so my son's babysitter. And it had been several years since I chatted with her. I didn't know if she had the same phone, but I decided last week, let me just text her, see if she's out there, let her know he's around. And it was just the warmest reconnection. She was just telling me about her life and her kids and her job. And she seemed so happy to reconnect. And then she said, is Andrew coming home for Thanksgiving? And I was feeling heavy and sad about that, but I also was feeling like he had not been there 2 weeks. And yes, he does get Friday off, but logistics would not be very easy. And it's it's the busiest time of year for travel. And I said, well, he's hoping to have a refrigerator by then, which he does. And she said, well, then he's coming to us. And that just made me feel so much better. And when I told him, and he reached out to her, and he was just delighted, and all will be well. Hopefully they'll take a picture or call us when they're together, and that will be really nice. So we will be going out to California in the end of the year, so we will get to see him, and that is also why, I felt like coming home for Thanksgiving was not a must have. What else has been going on? I work in a high school office, and it's a very dynamic environment. It can be, most of the time, it's very dynamic. There's always something that's going on. And a lot of that has to do with kids' social emotional health and in addition to academic learning. I really like my job at the school, and they're just some really fantastic people. I have a lot of respect for the administration and for a lot of my coworkers, and we're just trying to make it fun. Our football team's doing well. They're going to states, and they play the Tuesday after Thanksgiving at home, so we've got a group of the secretaries who are going to go and make our own little cheering section, which I think is good. I think people sometimes get tired and forget what it's all about, and I think doing those things helps remind everyone what it's all about. So I think I made it through the video. I'm delighted because I think this is the 15th time I've tried, and I've done the take on, put on, take off many times. I was having some technical problems, and I think I'll just leave it at that. And this was really important for me to get out and get going and share with everybody. So with that said, I will be back in a couple of weeks. I hope if you're having Thanksgiving that it's a lovely holiday for you. And I just hope your knitting is bringing you joy, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Take care.